What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another post-game show here on Rangers Central. And the Rangers beat the New Jersey Devils 3-1. What a big game here. What another great performance. Wouldn't be the Rangers without Cardiac Rangers. We had every single thing happen in this game. You wanted hits, we had hits. You wanted fights? Well, we almost had one, so I guess you didn't get that. You got some solid goaltending, you got good defense, but again, Cardiac Rangers. I'm going to plug the shirts because it was a Cardiac Ranger affair. So it works tonight. If you want your Cardiac Ranger shirts, hoodies, whatever it may be, this is the design. Go ahead and buy it. Link to it is in the description if you haven't bought it. Thank you to everyone that did. Hopefully those will start to come into the mail for people that did buy it sometime soon there. So yeah, again, tag me on Twitter when you do get your Cardiac Rangers merch, and I will obviously retweet it and all of that stuff. But yeah, just another great game for the Rangers here. And they're shut me the hell up. Shut me the hell up. Granted, the New Jersey Devils, I mean, I don't need to say much there. I can't stand staring at their stupid faces. Love every single time the Rangers win a game against them. And they just, I mean, the score does not indicate how much the Rangers kept this game out of reach. There were moments where it got worrisome. I won't act like this was a perfect game by any means. The game against St. Louis was definitely a better performance in terms of the way they played throughout the entire 60. But still, I'm not going to be here complaining about the way that they did play in this game. How about the reverse of this game here? You get no power play goals and you only get 5v5 goals. How about that for a reverse there of things? By the way, you'll never guess who scored at 5v5 tonight. You'll never guess, but you will because you watched the game just like me. But still, before we jump into everything, leave a like on the show here if you haven't already. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Ranger fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. But let's talk about this hockey game. Very chaotic game at points, and the Rangers' first period was very solid for the most part. Like, the Rangers did a good job at generating chances throughout that first period. I thought they could have maybe got a bit more of chances, but they did control the play, and they were easily the better team of that first period. It's not even close. The way that they defended the neutral zone was beautiful. The only gripe that I had with that period is when they did allow New Jersey to get through the neutral zone, they did allow a few quality chances here and there, but it's not like it was terrible. The two quality chances I could think of off the top of my head was the hollow one shorthanded, which Panarin, I didn't like the way he read that play there on the power play. And then there was also a chance. I'm trying to remember who had the other chance. This is why I write things down here, but there was another one. Oh yeah, the Nico Hischier chance right in front. So they had two quality chances against, maybe three, you could argue, but for the most part, they had some good chances of their own as well throughout the entirety of that period. Rempe had a very strong shift. I mean, Matt Rempe, we'll talk a lot about him. MIKA looked a lot more visible from the start of the game, though, too. Like, he was firing the puck, one-timer chance there as the Rangers got an early power play. Trocheck couldn't bury the rebound, and then you had some, again, just great neutral zone defense. And the Rangers' transition game was beautiful. The way that they were flying through the neutral zone throughout the entirety of this night was really, really impressive, and something that I've been very annoyed that the Rangers haven't done a lot through the year. And they did a very good job of that in this game. So love the transition play, especially in the first period. The only gripe that you could have outside of what I said, where they did allow a couple quality chances when New Jersey did get through the neutral zone, is the power play did not convert and didn't really get a lot of quality looks. But that's neither here nor there because the power play has been very good for the majority of the season. So I'm not going to worry too much. Granted, they did have a stretch where they looked piss poor. I'm not going to worry too much because last game they did convert an obnoxious amount. Second period, another crazy period, and the Rangers did have a couple chances. I thought that with that period, the neutral zone opened up a bit, which I didn't like to start the period. I didn't like the start of that second period because New Jersey started to get a couple quality chances. Lindgren was out of position on one of those chances where I think there was two good chances for Jesper Bratt during that sequence there. He also would have some chances later on in this game, but that was the main one where it's like, all right, well, that cannot happen. Later in the period too, Miller, he got flat-footed in the neutral zone. Bratt just gets a chance alone. Then they come the other way again later on in that shift and almost get a quality opportunity as they got another odd man rush. I thought that was really the only gripe of that period. It was kind of the opposite, though. When the Rangers in the first period, they protected the neutral zone well, but didn't protect in their own end as crisp, where this was the opposite. They allowed the pressure in, which I didn't love, but they did a good job of defending the pressure when they did allow it to come in. Again, outside of those 2 rush chances in the period, they played very stellar on defense, but again, that's neither here nor there. And then they did, of course, score. They did score in the first period, by the way, but it ended up getting called back because they did get a rush opportunity where Lafreniere was just a beautiful feed to Artemi Panarin, who scored, but unfortunately it didn't count because Trocheck was offsides. The right call there. But the Rangers, again, would make it 1-0. Jack Roslovic, beautiful forecheck on that play. Doesn't get an assist, does in my books, does in my heart. And that's something that line has been missing a lot of the season. And Jack Roslovic, beautiful forecheck. Chris Kreider from behind the net gives it over to Zibanejad, who backhands it in for a 5v5 goal. He finally did it, and hopefully this is the start of something. And I'm getting a little confidence when I shouldn't in it happening because of the way he played the rest of the game, because he was more noticeable and did have some jump in his game after that goal. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but let's hope. I'm not going to say we're Barack with MIKA yet, but very solid effort there. And then it would be 2-0. Rempe with a great job on the forecheck. Then the Rangers cycle. Gustafsson would fire one on goal with all the traffic in front, and that made it 2-0. Rempe does not get an assist, but that's another one where he does in my heart because that was really good forechecking. Good to get in front of the net there. Jones and Vesey get the assist on that one instead. And then right after, Rempe takes a penalty, a 5-minute major that is, as I can't even back this hit here. That was a dirty hit, and that's probably going to result in the suspension. Rightfully so on that one. Rempe clearly led in with the elbow on that hit on Jonas Siegenthaler, and that got him 5 in a game for that. And then McDermott got a 10-minute misconduct as he tried to fight Rempe, which was pretty much all night long. Stupid of him and just annoying. But regardless, Matt Rempe, he's probably going to get a 1 or 2 game suspension, which means Johnny Brzezinski, welcome back to the lineup for a game or 2. But yeah, again, that period, I didn't love how much the neutral zone opened. They started to find their footing, though, later on. They didn't generate the most chances, but at least their transition game looked crisp yet again, and the forecheck looked really good, was starting to wear New Jersey down, and it was very visible that it was. And then the third period, you get on. The Rangers did a unbelievable job on that penalty kill for the 5-minute major. And did my eyes deceive me, or was Barclay Goodrow the best out there on that penalty kill? Not to discredit the rest of the unit, but Barclay Goodrow had a very good game, honestly, all around. I'm not going to complain. I don't know what's happening there, but 2 good games in a row. And there was, at one point, I think it was in the second period, on one of the penalty kills, where he's just skating his bag off down the ice, and I'm like, Barclay Goodrow? Barclay Goodrow. And, hey, listen, again, make me look stupid. I've been asking for that all season long. Make me look freaking stupid. And loved what Barclay Goodrow provided tonight. MIKA had another good chance at 5v5. Then towards the end of the period, which I didn't like because it is Cardiac Rangers, they played such a good third period for the first 10 to 15 minutes, and then they started to invite pressure. Haula got an interference penalty, so the Rangers got the power play. Didn't get really any good looks on it. But then New Jersey got some pressure on. Jack Hughes had a wide open net, which he missed on, by the way. And then it would be 2-1. Too much pressure. Schneider with a bad turnover on that play. Quick was screened way too much in front. Nobody was covering the point, which can't happen. And then Nemec would end up scoring to make it a 2-1 game. But Trocheck would bury the empty netter to make it 3-1. I love the way they played that third period as a shutdown period until the end. That needs to be cleaned up the way they played the last 5 minutes or so of that period. But outside of that, they played so good for that third period and the defensive effort through the majority of this game for, I would say, like 50 minutes of the game. The only time I could look at is like the start of the second period and then the end of the third really wasn't crisp. Outside of that, the defensive efforts have been, it's been night and day between what we've seen lately to now. And I don't know how it has just changed this quickly overnight, but I will not complain if this is the outcome. But I will say, again, I am going to personally pump the brakes. Tomorrow is going to tell me a lot about this team. I know it's a back-to-back, so it's hard to judge them when they are playing a team like Carolina on a back-to-back. But if they do what they've been doing lately against the Carolina Hurricanes, that's going to be what moves me personally. That's the type of game that would move me. You go into Raleigh and you annihilate the Canes, or not even just annihilate. You go in, play a solid game, a sound game, and beat them. I mean, if you annihilate them, I'm definitely moved. But if they go in there and play just a solid, well-rounded game and grab 2 points, that starts to move me personally. But because at the end of the day, St. Louis, I mean, they had a big win against Boston, which Boston hasn't been playing the best hockey lately, but still, that's who the Rangers beat last. And then New Jersey, it's New Jersey. It's New Jersey. And nothing puts a smile on my face more than knowing that that type of game could potentially keep New Jersey from out of the playoffs. You want to see a smile? There's a smile. Couldn't be any more happier with that being the case. Don't care if people say rent-free. Don't care if people say any of that. Don't care. I'm eating it up because of the fact that I was saying it all preseason. I wasn't bought into them. I wasn't. And yeah, the Rangers end up winning the game. 2 big points yet again. How about Gustafsson and Jones, by the way, that game? How about Gustafsson and Jones? They played so good. They look so good together. There needs to be a conversation when Trouba comes back, man. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen at all. And like, even if the Rangers go undefeated until Trouba returns, it's not going to happen. But 2 games without Jacob Trouba in the lineup, man. 2 games without Trouba in the lineup. Gustafsson, Jones. Jones is moving me a lot. Jones is moving me a lot. He has looked so good the past 2 games. Gustafsson looks so good. I mean, I didn't really hate anyone's defensive game, honestly. I didn't really hate anyone's defensive game. Fox, who was playing sick, by the way, still had a very good game. Was very noticeable. I don't know how the third line is at the bottom of the charts. That one's making me scratch my head. I love the third line's effort throughout the majority of this game. They had a lot of quality looks, too. Especially there was one shift where the puck was right on the goal line, just missed from crossing. I think Heischer cleared that one away. But the third line I thought was very good. Second line looked a lot better tonight versus what they did against St. Louis. I felt like they had a lot more offensive pressure throughout the night. But the first line, too, even. I don't know. I'm just loving what we're getting from this team right now. Loving the efforts from this team right now. And this is, again, I'm going to continue to beat the drum, and I'm going to continue to say it. This is why I am so critical of this hockey team, because look at what they could do. Look at what they could do. It's just a matter of stringing it together consistently and stringing it together when it matters the most. And again, they do this more nights than they don't. They're going to win a lot more hockey games. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. But just a beautiful game. Jack Hughes was invisible all night long. Jack Hughes was invisible all night long. His brother too. Oh, it was great. It was great. But I think that's really all I got to talk about with this game. I don't know if I really have much else to add. And yeah, like I said, leave a like if you haven't. Subscribe. Let's look at chat and see what you guys have to say about this game, about this effort. So let's see. Nice win. Agree, Logan. Rangers look solid defensively. I don't know if it's time to start a dialogue about Captain Picasso yet, but credit to Zach Jones for stepping up and MIKA for scoring his first 5v5 in the Big 24. Yeah, I think it's time for a dialogue for sure. Layer defense and strong positional play. You're damn right, Steven. You're damn right. Schneider's a rock. Loved Schneider's game. Outside of the turnover he had, loved what Braden Schneider was. Miller, too. Like, there was one play in the game, I think it was the second period, he made a really bad mistake, but then made up for it right away with a beautiful stick check. Wenberg, too, by the way. He is another one in the neutral zone. Just, I could watch Alex Wenberg in the neutral zone until I die. I swear to God, watching this guy play in the neutral zone is beautiful for no freaking reason. For no reason, it's beautiful to me. And on top of that, for a guy that had negative penalty kill metrics, he has looked very good on the penalty kill lately. I don't know if that's because Seattle as a team is dragging him down or what, but I could watch Alex Wenberg on the penalty kill all night long. I tweeted out some highlights too. I tweeted out some highlights too from last game. And the white hockey stick pause is aura. Solid performance, couple things that they need to clean up, but I like how we were seeing them be solid defensively for a majority of the game. Sucks quit, didn't get the shutout. Big test tomorrow. The Rangers have to be the kings of blowing shutouts last minute. Feels like it every freaking time. But yeah, I agree. There were things to clean up, but solid defensively. What are my predictions for what happens with Rempe? I think he gets 1 or 2 games. Trade Mr. Paintings. Hey, yeah, I'm very happy, Steven. Listen, I'm sorry to my Giants fans in the chat, but I'm having a very good day. Oh, Howie freaking Roseman, man. The biggest ball sack ever. I root for the Vegas Golden Knights of football, it feels like. It's nice. It's a nice feeling. Granted, it'd be nice if, they didn't choke a 10-1 record. We're not going to talk about that. Anyway, let's talk about hockey. Keep playing Jones. He brings speed. Yeah, I love what Zach Jones is providing for this team. Yeah, Rempe's probably going to get suspended. Yeah, playing like a team. I don't know if the trades just rejuvenated this entire team or what, but this looks completely different. And I'm absolutely here for it. I am just hoping that this is not going to be a situation where they have all this fire and momentum now and then it dies come playoff time. But that's going to be what ultimately tells us a lot about this group, right? If this team ends up being a resilient group, we're going to see it come playoff time. We're going to see them come playoff time, be prepared from the jump, but also not choke a lead, preferably in the series. Preferably not. Yeah, not a good penalty for Rempe, but love that they killed it off for him. Schneider, the most noticeable player in your opinion, never had an issue with getting the puck out of our zone, and it was nice for a change. Like I said, outside of the one where New Jersey scored, yeah, I agree. I thought Schneider was very noticeable. There was a lot of guys noticeable. The only guy that I would say that wasn't noticeable, I mean, I don't even know if I could actually pinpoint a guy that wasn't noticeable in this game. Like, I'd say maybe Will Cooley, but again, like, there were a couple good shifts from him. But outside of that, there was really no one that wasn't noticeable, in my opinion. Yeah, Rempe's got to get suspended for that one. I agree, Joe Shane Train. Think the Rangers got too comfortable, but that's hopefully what they learned from being too comfortable at the end of that game is you got to stick to that structure throughout the entirety of the period. Can't take your foot off the gas. Yeah, the relief on Mika's face. Agree. I agree, Mike. Not a must win tomorrow, but psychologically, a must win. Yeah, tomorrow's a really big game. Jake Gensel, too, making his big debut. Emotions high for Carolina. Emotions high for the Rangers, who, again, if they want to really cement their lead in the division, they have a 4-point lead. Tomorrow is the game to really cement that. 5-1 win tomorrow. Tron, manifest it. Manifest it. 4-point game? Yes. 4-point game. Tomorrow to me is going to tell a lot, Logan. Tomorrow to me is going to tell a lot, Logan. But listen, if they do lose tomorrow and they still look like they have in these past few games, I'm not going to be mad but as long as they're hanging in there, of course. Granted, I don't want to lower the bar that much because at the end of the day, like, to be the best, you got to beat the best. But if you're going toe to toe with them, at least, I can at least appreciate that. Because in a 7-game series, who knows? Maybe that could change things. Get Philk on here. He owes Jones an apology. I'd love to get Philk on another time, though, for sure. Spot on, Evan. Thank you, Dallas. Let's go, Rangers, for sure. Schneider and Miller have stepped it up these past few games. Jones has also been good. Agree there, Luke. Yeah, Joe, they heard me. They heard me. And we're like, you know what? That jerk off on YouTube, we should use him as motivation and make him look stupid. To that I say, thank you. And to that I say, please do not take it seriously. I know that nobody on the team knows who I am. I just have to make that disclaimer every time, because every time I make that type of joke, people are like, you don't actually think the players know you, do you? I know they don't. I know they don't. I'm well aware. Well aware. Yeah, Hughes with the mistake on the empty net goal. Yeah, for the Devils' sake, that might have been the first game goaltending looked better, was the best part of the Devils team. That might have been the Devils' best part. Goudreau, Trocheck, Jones, Rempe, all good effort. Agree. Agree with that. Yeah, Lindgren had a good game too, and he's been a lot better lately, which is very nice to see. The Rangers had a shutout last game and then carried it over until the end of the third period, obviously, in this game. I don't think we're gonna see Ruedel for a bit. If we're gonna see Jones play like this, it's gonna be hard to pull him out of the lineup. Yeah, my bad, Luke. My bad, Luke. The only guy I would say that was noticeable outside of Kaapo Kakkonen for New Jersey, I don't know, like you said, maybe Erik Haula. I thought Nemec was solid for them. Brendan Smith had a couple nice plays. That's really about it, though, honestly. And then there was, like, Bratt had probably their best chances, but still. I mean, I'd say the same for Rempe, which Rempe, man, he's proven himself to be a legitimate 16 game player, 16 win player. He's starting to prove it, in my opinion. Starting to prove it. And that's something that you really love to say. Why not both? Why not both, Joe Shane Train? Yeah, Blake, you could have a signature, of course. No, I agree, Joe. I was just saying that, like, if there's anyone that you could argue wasn't noticeable in terms of their play tonight, it would be Will Cooley, in my opinion. But again, that's not to say that he had a bad game. I thought Will Cooley was actually really good in this game, but because I love the play that they're getting from the third line right now. And that's what I was saying when they got Wenberg, when they got uh and when they got Roslovic, that, like, you put Roslovic up there, move Kako down. I thought that would be the third line, and it's been, and I've loved the third line. 25 plus goals, I would take that from Will Cooley. I think he could be like a 20 goal scorer, 15, 20 goal scorer on a yearly basis. If they win, they'll hit 90 points. Yeah. Nick Patan. Wonder how he's doing in Hartford. Yeah, I like Trocheck's game too. Yeah, I was one of the people that was ready to ship Kako out of town, but he's been impressing me lately. Yeah, no one was bad tonight. I was just saying, like, in terms of if you could argue anyone that was invisible, the only guy I could say you could even make somewhat of an argument for is Will Cooley, but Rempe may be the next Stefan Mattel. I know you want Gensel, like, really bad, but I don't believe we ever did more than kick the tires for a deal. Not trading the future for depth was better and the smarter option. We'll see how the playoffs go, Mike, because at the end of the day, as much as it looks good in 2 games, and I'm not going to take away from what the Rangers have done these 2 games, they've looked good, but we have to see what happens come playoff time before we could jump to that conclusion, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I always love the depth moves that they made. I just argued personally that they should do both, fill the depth and get a top line guy. But if it works, I'd be very happy to be wrong. I'd be very happy to be wrong. I thought about it, actually, funny enough, but I was really debating it too last minute, to the point where I'm probably not going to go. I think next year, though, I'm going to hit up Raleigh just because Nick's down in the area and I have a place to stay and have a person to go to the game with. So yeah, I'll probably hit up Raleigh next year. But I'm jealous of anyone that is going. I would argue Kako's the play driver of that line personally, but Wenberg has been really good too. Nice voice crack by me. Wenberg has been very good too, in my opinion, but I would say Kako's the play driver of that line. Let's see what happened in the other games tonight. Winnipeg Jets, 3-0 win. Blues 5-1 over Boston. I don't like this 4 games, 10 games, 4 games, 12 games, 2 games, 14. Like, what is this with the NHL? Like, when the Rangers aren't playing, I want to be able to turn the TV on and have an obnoxious amount of games. I like to put the grid up with the 4 games on. I like to do that. Give me some of that action. Saturday, though, 14 games. The right 3:00 game on Saturday. 3:00 games are just ridiculous. Probably Brodzinski. Like I said, Steven, I will give Drury credit when when we see the result in the postseason. Not going to jump to conclusions yet. I again love the way they've played the past 2 games. Want to say. Yeah, I agree. They complement each other well. If Kako could start finishing, that would help. That would help. You'll be there representing. Love that. Love that. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Ranger fans in that building. There always is. Who do I think the Rangers end up playing in round 1? No clue. No clue, and I don't want to say one way or the other. Don't know. I'll tell you, it's either going to be the Islanders, the Flyers, the Lightning, or the Red Wings. Don't know exactly who, though. Yeah. What is with me tonight? Yeah, I saw that, Luke. I saw that, Luke. Just ridiculous that guy's allowed at games. I saw him last year at a playoff game. Just ridiculous. Who is the scariest first round match? I mean, I don't like the idea of playing Tampa. Don't like the idea of playing Torts. Don't like the idea of playing the Islanders if they're going to start, if they're really heating up like I think they are. I'm not going to mention which guy, Marvin, or talk about it here because I don't want to I don't want to give any publicity or just talk about that thing. But if you want to find any of that, go on Twitter. So, yeah. Scariest round 1 is the dude talking now. I'm guessing you mean the Rangers are the scariest first round team. I mean, if they play like this, they're not going to be easy at all. They're not going to be easy at all. But I don't want to pick an opponent because I've done that in the past and it does not go over well. Yeah, Marvin, agree with what you said. Yeah, the officiating was garbage all night. Terrible boarding call. The interference call on Fox, just terrible. Toughest first round match for the Canes. Honestly, underratedly. I don't know, honestly, actually. I do think for round 1, you're saying, because that changes the question. I don't know if there's anyone really for the I think Tampa could give them. I think it's kind of the same deal with the Rangers. Tampa Bay, the Islanders, if they heat up. I mean, the Islanders gave the Canes some trouble last year. It wasn't an easy out by any means last year. And if the Islanders are truly buying in the Patrick Waugh system, that could give the Canes some fits. And then Philadelphia with Tortorella, of course, too. I think it's kind of the same deal. I think the playoffs, no matter what this year, are just going to be a bloodbath, though. It's going to be a bloodbath regardless. Well, yeah, I was just saying, outside of the first round, Luke. Yeah, I agree. I think the Islanders would give both New York teams some fits. You can't ever you can't count out a Torts team. You just can't. As a Canes fan, I think it's Tampa just because of Vasi. The Islanders are carbon copies of us, but a bit worse. To an extent, I mean, they're kind of changing their identity. I would agree with you from the previous years, like when they had Barry Trotz and when they, even with Lane Lambert, I would agree. But I mean, they made it really tough with Lane Lambert behind the bench last year. I don't know if the Canes want to run into the Islanders again. And again, maybe I'm overrating what the Islanders are doing over this recent stretch, and it's kind of fool's gold. But I don't know, like something about the way they're buying in the Patrick Waugh system is it's not going to make them an easy out, in my opinion. I think they could give Carolina trouble. I would still ultimately pick Carolina in a series over them, but I would say that goes 6 or 7 games again, like last year where it went 6. Chris, I love you, man, and I agree that it'd be great. Let's not get carried away, though. No matter what, no matter the personnel, it is basically an unwritten law that the Rangers have to go 6 or 7 games in a series. That's why when they beat Pittsburgh in 5 in 2015, I'm like, this is the year easily. This is easily the year, right? And then it wasn't. Yeah, I think the Panthers are for real this year. Joe, I will sign the dotted line. I will sign the dotted line. I won't lie. I won't lie. I was sitting here. Well, not in this spot, but I was sitting here yesterday and today just thinking about postseason hockey. For some reason, it's in my mind right now. It shouldn't be right now because there's still like a month left of play, but it's just in my head thinking about being at the Garden, thinking of Baba playing 18,000, more like 20,000 because of the standing row, waving the towels. It's in my head for some reason right now. It's in my damn head. Who's scarier in the conference finals, Panthers or Bruins? I would say the Panthers. Because they are a very deep team too, and their defensive structure is very good. Would love to see Wenberg get a goal. Playoff hockey making me feel like R2D2. You and I both. Thank you, Marvin. I'm very happy about Barkley. I won't lie. It's a bit of an overpay, and I do have worries about his injuries, but I'm still so excited. It feels so weird to even think about rooting for Saquon Barkley, though, next year. Like, it feels weird to say that I'm going to be rooting for him. Watching Rangers or Knicks tomorrow. Rangers get the priority. The Knicks game will be on the back burner. I'm going to do a post game on my Knicks channel. If you're not subbed to my Knicks channel, look up Knicks Central or go to my channel and go to the featured channels. It's there. I'm going to watch both. I will either watch the Knicks game after I do the post game for the Rangers tomorrow, or I'll watch it at some point the next day, and then I'll put the Knicks post game up. But the grind doesn't stop. I think Gensel's going to fit great in Carolina. I think he's going to fit great in Carolina, which is why I didn't like the fact, too, that, you know, not only the Rangers didn't get him, I was mad that Carolina got him. Hockey over basketball. I would agree, but don't get me wrong. I'm in love with the Knicks right now. Granted, I was not happy at all with the last game where I was very pissed. Last post-game show was a rant. Yes, 83 watching. Let's get to 50 likes and get more eyes on Rangers Central. I agree, Mike NYR for life. Leave a like if you haven't. I do have Eagles Central, but I kind of abandoned the channel because, I don't know. It's really hard to keep up with 4 channels, and I don't know, like, and I love the Birds, but I don't know. Like, my passion's really mostly towards the Mets and the Rangers. Mostly the Rangers, of course. Yeah, I was surprised that they got Gensel too. Yeah, I agree that I mean I was shocked on deadline day too, considering the reports we heard leading up to it, but sounds like the Rangers didn't even really make a push for Gensel, and they were kind of used as leverage to make Carolina drive up their price, which is interesting. Hockey over any sport. Yeah. Yeah. No, I kind of knew that I wanted to get a Rangers tattoo because that's the team that I'm the most emotionally attached to. I love the Mets, but it's hard to commit to ink on my body. Granted, there are days where I feel like an idiot and a jerk off for having the Rangers ink on my freaking body. Even though I do love them to death. It's like when they get eliminated from the playoffs, I'm just like, I hate this freaking thing. But yeah, I mean, I might do it for another team too. I might potentially. No, I do the Knicks post games in the same room. I do in the same room, even though it's all Rangers stuff in the back. That's another thing too. If I leave, even though I leave, or with the Eagles, it was really awkward. Like having Rangers stuff in the back, doing an Eagles channel, a little awkward. Knicks, Rangers, Yankees, Jets. Yeah, two out of four there. 2 out of 4. Definitely not a Yankees guy. Definitely an anti-Yankees guy, if anything. Sorry to the Yankee fans in here. There are Yankee fans in here that I do like, but not a Yankees guy. I mean, I would love it if the Rangers did play the Devils, but I don't think the Devils make it. Yeah, they don't have the stones. Like, come on. We saw that game. They don't have the stones this year. And I think they do have a solid future ahead of them to be a playoff team down the road. But that team right now doesn't have the stones. They looked so out of it. They looked like they had not 1 ounce of confidence in their game. They don't have the stones. But I am going to wrap things up here since we're approaching 45 minutes, and usually that's where I wrap things up unless it's like the playoffs. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget, again, to leave a like if you haven't already. Let's see if we could get to 80 likes at some point on this. I would appreciate, since that's kind of what we're averaging lately, which is really crazy that you guys have been killing it that much with the support. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe too, and I will see you guys in the next post-game show tomorrow.